Hi everybody. So I'm a little bit sad today. I lost a very dear friend, and it wasn't through death. It was through one of those unskillful actions that people do to each other in relationships sometimes. I know that in the past I've hurt people. I've been the doer of unskillful actions, and today it happened to me. And so I lost a friend. And it brings me to one of those fundamental questions of life, which is, how do we live in this life with all of its hope and love and beauty and inspiring action, but that also contains a tremendous amount of pain and sorrow and suffering and unskillful action? How do we live in this full catastrophe of life and still have an open heart? It's what I call being a qualified human being, able to live in this life with an open heart. Because it's through that open heart that we are able to connect with our children, to connect with our spouses, to connect with our Grammies, our Grampies, our neighbors across the street, or our neighbors across the world. And when those hearts of ours start to constrict, which is what happens when we experience pain and suffering and chronic stress. We can first feel it in the body, right? The chest gets heavy and tight. We get stomach aches. Our faces start to hold a lot of unhappiness and tension. But this is also happening in the heart and mind as well. The heart constricts. It gets tight. It gets closed off from the pain. And yet we can't let that happen, because our main goal, our main task, as I see it, is to live in this life as a fully qualified human being, aka a human being which still has an open heart. And that brings us to meditation, because one of the main goals or tasks or possibilities of our practice of meditation is to figure out how the heck to keep our hearts open even when they've experienced tremendous pain and suffering. Every living being on the planet needs a place of refuge, needs a place to go to when they're feeling in danger. You see a rabbit out on the mesa, and the rabbit sees a hawk, and it will scuttle as fast as it can toward its nearest rabbit hole to seek safety and protection or refuge. And that is exactly what we cultivate in our practice of meditation. If we only ever depend on our external world for refuge, we will be sorely disappointed many of the time, because our external conditions are constantly changing. If we have some capacity to develop this place of refuge or safety or peace inside our minds and in our hearts through our practice of meditation, that is true refuge. So the practice becomes, how do I sit with all of these feelings of just pain and betrayal and just sadness over the loss of a loved friend? How do I sit with them, allow myself to feel them, allow them to come up, and still not have it turn off my heart? That is the task of our lives, and that is the purpose of our meditation. So on these days where we're feeling extra stress, extra suffering, extra pain through the course that our lives take us along, I'm going to move deeper into my meditation practice, allow it a little bit more time throughout the course of the day than I already am, so that I can figure out in these next couple of days, weeks, months, years, how to sit with this, how to live with this, and still not have it erode the quality of my life. I hope so much you can find a place of true refuge in your practice as well. All my love.